Hey, my boy.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the 804 podcast. I'm Nick.
Jesse.
Alex.
And today we have a real special guest. Miss Community Clovia.
Yeah.
The one and only.
Yes, sir.
You're supposed to say Clovia.
I was
Nick,
saying...
if you could have got there. Yeah, you could have got there, boy.
I've heard you say that before.
Hey, we gonna get some money if you
I
can
was
get
saying
that.
that all the time.
Clovia.
I was saying that all the way over there. Like, Miss Community Clovia.
There
there
it
we
is. There it is. And you done got Nick to break his
Y'all
voice.
gonna have to pay good
Wow.
money to hear that.
Yeah, y'all not hearing that again ever.
Yeah.
Right? What's going?
Miss Community Clovia.
Wow. He never talked to me like this. I'm flabbergasted.
I mean, you gotta think about it. You gotta think about it. Rolling in the car all the way since I was a kid. That's all you heard.
That's
Community
a fact.
Clovia.
That voice has been around for a long time.
And then hearing Boosie Badass come right after that. Right, yeah, good old times, man. Good times, man.
That is.
The first Gucci, not the clone. I said it. We starting off early.
Okay.
All right. Well, Alex, speaking of starting off early, Mr. Alfred, should I say? Right, if you're nasty, right? right. My good brother, how many episodes have we been doing? Chloe, Alex isn't the greatest at counting these episodes every week. You know, he's a busy man, I guess.
He went to LC Bird.
Hold on.
A county school kid go, okay.
Ain't nothing wrong with LC Bird now, right? Ain't nothing wrong with CCPS, right? But how long we been doing this,
I
man?
want to say me and my good brothers have been doing the 804 podcast
Yes, sir.
for 176 episodes.
Wow. That's good stuff. We need to clap it up.
Okay.
Sorry. We clapping up the hand. Right? That's what we're having. Congratulations. Sorry. I need to get that button. That's a fact.
That's a lot of determination.
Week after week after week
creation,
after week after week.
Been
Viewers,
smiling.
responses.
Been smiling through it the whole time. Yeah.
Wow.
Every episode?
I think just about everyone.
Oh, ain't nothing wrong with
Just
that.
about?
No.
Okay.
Just about.
Well,
Yeah.
something else we do just about every episode. You know if I call you Chloe? I always give people
Call
nicknames.
me Chloe.
Chloe, all right,
Everybody
bang.
calls me Chloe anyway.
Got it. All right, Chloe, something else we do here on the show, we do have a quote of the week, quote of the day.
Uh-huh.
And this quote can be a Bible verse, song lyric, tattoo, Facebook post, anything that just means something to you. It doesn't have to be deep, just something that just means something to you to get us started.
Well, you know, in light of all of the violence and people killing themselves by what they're eating and thoughts on their mind, so I'm going to do a quote as, be good to your body and your body is going to be good to you. Just another Chloism.
Amen. Amen.
All right, yeah, there it is. It's going to be a lot of jewels tonight. Yes, sir. Okay, something else we do. We not the award show, Chloe, so we don't just let people just say quotes and just, this ain't Instagram. We just don't say quotes and that's just it. So real quick, I guess, just break down, why do you live by that and why is that so important to you?
It is so important to me because every day I wake up, I'm going to be honest with you. I've been around for a long time and God has blessed me to be a voice on the radio. And so in order to have this voice, I have to make sure I get my rest.
Next.
I have to make sure is equally not to be negative, mean, evil to people and try to be loving and caring. And so that is all inclusive to being good to your body.
Right.
Because a lot of people think I'm just talking about, meat versus plant-based. I don't eat meat, but I mean meat versus plant-based. But it's more to that. It's your personality. It's your character.
So you're saying your attitude can affect your overall health?
Yeah, your attitude will affect your aptitude. How far you going to go?
So y'all
Negative, walking around with
them
the
stink
inability.
attitudes out there.
Yeah. Mad, depressed, just gossiping for no reason. Have you?
You ever wonder why your back hurt? Right,
Yeah, people are mad because you've been cussing people out for no reason. With a smiling face. You wake up and you got, ow!
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, right.
And
Tighten
so
up.
that's a lot. And
Okay.
so just being good to your body, that's all of it. You want to lose the attitude and lose the weight, and you trim the fat and never find it again.
Amen.
All
Amen.
right.
Respect.
All right. Anybody want to get these questions rolling?
Okay, Miss Community Clovia,
Oh
Yeah.
Lord.
how did you
Oh.
get started? How did you get started in this business?
Wow, how did I get started in this business? Well, I've been a talker all my life.
Same.
And I used to get in trouble for talking a lot, at Sunday dinner with my grandparents. And it was like, if I said, shh, quiet, right? Or stop talking. And so then, my grandmother got really mad at me one day because I was just talking and talking and talking and talking. And she said, shut up. I said, oh my God, my feelings are hurt. And so I went outside and I'm talking more again. And everyone was like, you didn't hear her say, shut up. And so I turned to her and I was could have been about 10 or 11. And I said, I'm going to be somebody when it comes to talking. Just you wait and see. And so she never said I wouldn't be, but she said, all I know is right now you're going to shut up. And so that's how that went. And everywhere I go, I was talking all the time. And so then when I went to Virginia Union University, my alma mater, I wanted to get into broadcast journalism, but I wanted to get into broadcast journalism to be a floor director at a television station, behind the scenes, and just being a part of a news director's crew. Maybe it was camera operation, anything on the field corresponding. And so I had to have an intern at Virginia Union University, so they sent me to a contemporary hits radio station, which was Q94 at the time. And the midday announcer, he was like, you ever thought about being on air? So I started laughing. I was like, what? Who? Me? No. And so we put together.
Gotcha. No, we going all night.
We put together an air check. And so we put together an air check, and that's Contemporary Hits, which is your top 40 radio station. And so he was like, why don't you take it to Magic 99? It's this new radio station that's going to start in Petersburg. It's an FM, because most of your black radio stations were on AM. And it was this FM radio station. And so I go down and I apply, and they call me in and they say, you sound too white. They said, what? I said, you sound too white. You have potential. You're a college grad, but you just don't sound black enough. So 2 weeks go by, they call me down, and then they literally had me to do an air check in their studios. And it was like, no, you're too contemporary hit-ish. And so one day, Debbie Parker was program director at Magic 99 in Petersburg on South Crater. So she was doing this Sunday stroll show. And it started like at 5 o'clock in the evening. So, everybody's listening to the radio because that's really like your first FM black radio station, right? And so everybody's outside there listening. She told me, come in, we're going to do the quiet storm. And she said, well, here's what I want you to do. I want you to sit at the mic like you're going to speak on the mic. It's like, that makes no sense. No, but I want to sit on the mic. So I'm just sitting there, and she said, get yourself in position. And she said, we're just going to pretend like you're going to be speaking. So she's over there. So she's controlling the board now. And she was like, okay. And so then she opens the mic, she does her spiel, and then she says, now Clovia is going to give us the weather. I said, well, tonight it's going to be, she said, there we go.
That's it.
So I couldn't disappoint my people.
Right.
So it's been on ever since. So that's how it was. I had no intention of being on radio. I had no intention of being a voice. I had no intention of being on radio for 37 years. But I'm here and I love it.
Right.
I think
Congratulations
it's the best
on
thing
that.
that could ever happen to me.
Sure.
Big props.
Yeah.
Big props too.
So it's interesting.
I got one for you.
Oh Lord.
Where does your confidence come from when it comes to like being on air?
Confidence? Wow, that's something you have to build because when I started, and as I stressed, 3 decades ago plus 7, it was a male dominant arena.
Oh,
I didn't have. Totally y'all guys are young when I, and it was like they were unapologetic.
Yeah,
like what? Or if I'm on air and I'm doing middays, or then they were like, Chloe needs somebody to work part time. So I'm on air getting off FM. They'll send me to the AM station and they'll have me working overnight. So at one point in time, I was the only part timer for 2 radio stations. So I have to do midday on one radio station, work overnight, and then come back and do middays. What were you going to say? You starting out in the business and you have to pay your dues. And so being a part of radio, but the one thing that the male dominant guys couldn't take away from me, I was a music head. I can play all music. Any genre of music, I can play music. And so the program director at the time, he would allow me, it was being allowed back then, he would allow me to do Sunday jazz. So when I did Sunday jazz, I did some classic rock, smooth jazz, some African beats. So that was the number 1 show in Central Virginia on radio. And so I'm doing that. Then they have me coming back to middays, and then they hire a new program director. Well, the new program director wanted to do middays, right? And so when the new program director wanted to do middays, our former program director was like, no, she's going to continue to do midday. And so he tried for a long time when the program director was there to get me moved out of midday. And he couldn't really get me moved out of midday because I always, graduating from a historically Black college and university, you call it creative now, being an influencer, but you always had to think outside the box, and you always had to bring your own bag, and you always had to snatch open the door to walk in and act like you belong or you sit at the table. So at this particular time, all of these great things that I learned from Virginia Union University, and the majority of my professors were from Calcutta, India, Tanzania, Africa. I may have had 1 or 2 American professors. And so everything about character, leadership, kingdom, queendom, ownership, those are things that I learned from Virginia Union. So I had to come to this realization that you have about 5 men on air. You have me as a female on air. If they downsize, who are they going to get rid of first? Because everybody's on air doing the same thing. So I said, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull away from that, still going to be on air, but I'm going to incorporate community. So when I started incorporating community, and they were like, wait a minute, I want that girl in the midday. The girl in the midday was talking about, you can go down to the health department and that girl in the midday, she was hosting this and, she was playing this and she was doing that. And then for students who were going to Virginia State or any college, I'm just out of college. So I can talk to you about Pell Grants. I can talk about all of these things on air. Folks who want to play as your sorority, Delta Sigma Theta sorority, Incorporated. So if you wanted to play as a sorority, and how do you get yourself prepared? So all of that is in the midst of the music. So I had to bring my own bag in order to stay.
And it makes you more valuable too.
Right. And so once I did that, because you're like, wait a minute, hold on, it's about music, it's about gossip. So I let the people gossip, because everybody's going to talk about the same story. How are you going to repeat this story? It's the same story. Yeah. Right? So you want to incorporate something else into it. Didn't know if it would work. I was doing a tester. I was y'all age at that time, 22, 23. So I'm like, yeah, 22, 23. Who are you? You don't know if you're going to have a future. You don't know where you are. The pressure is on. And so once that pressure is on and you know that you're fighting against, it's not a win-win situation. Because men want to come in. And then I remember when they downsized and Magic, the owners were going out of business. And when the owners were going out of business, they were bringing in some other guys. And it was like, yeah, let's bring some people in. We're going to carry this thing out. And I remember a guy walked up to me. He said, yeah, I'm gonna take over middays now. I said, yeah, the only way you can take over middays, I made it number 1. And so after that, I left urban radio and then I went to K95. And those were some of my best years in broadcast away from urban radio.
You kind of dived in it a little bit at the end of the answer. I guess then when did Miss
dived in?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's what that's what we're here for, right? Yeah, diving in, right?
Talking, I'm like, you say something.
When did community Clovia come in?
Community, right? Well, maybe about about 15, 20 years ago.
Okay.
I was doing the work in the community,
Mm.
and radio was shifting because you had classic R&B. Everybody was strong in the community, and now it's shifting. And so again, when before, if you had a radio station, you could own one radio station in the market. You couldn't own a radio station, print and TV. But after the laws changed federally, now you can own radio stations, TV stations, clusters, and stuff like that. And so when Radio One purchased KISS was on Wilkerson Road over here in Henrico, and it was owned by 4 black retired doctors at the time. And so they came in.
Okay.
So they came
Yeah, pass by every single day. Yeah.
Radio station.
Okay.
And so Radio One wanted to come into this market. So they were Radio One in DC. And they wanted to come into this market. So they purchased our radio station. And so when they purchased our radio station, they purchased our competition, which was 92.1. So they purchased the competition, and we all came under one cluster and one umbrella. So when you're looking at this, you say, okay, you got the folks, you got all of the jocks that are on the hip hop station. So you got all of the jocks that are on the KISS station. So again, I'm always thinking, if you're going to downsize, everybody sounds alike, doing the same thing, who's going to get fired? Majority of us or all of us, if 2 survive. So I always operated like that. If they downsize, and I'm gonna create my own bag.
Right.
So while we're in the midst of doing the things we're doing, again, going to Virginia Union, thinking outside the box, we had a promotions department. So everything we did in promotion was like, oh, back to school, we're gonna get on these guys' event. And so we're going to set up and we're going to take pictures. And I was like, that's not what I was taught. I was taught about voter education and empowerment. I was talking, about social services, education, and tutoring. So one day I did an event pulled up in the city of Richmond. And I did it in one district. So when I did it in one district, I said, that's not fair. Why don't I do it over North Side and another side? And I remember I went to church one Sunday. And so my pastor said, that's community clout. So I think community clout is in that. I say, I'll take that.
Shout out to the pastor. Yeah.
So I take that, and it's been on ever since. It's not something that I take for granted.
I got a question.
You got a question for me?
Yeah.
Talk to us.
Spit something.
So, out of all your years in broadcasting, what's one skill or trick you would say that helped you the most as far as getting elevating your brand?
Being resisted and being in a male dominant situation, because I think when we're looking at the scope of everything now, you see podcasters, you see women, and you see people just booming, right? That wasn't the case back then.
True.
That really wasn't. And to rise above the ranks, and then, and let's not get it twisted, you have women that want to come into space, and then once that space open up, they want to come into space and go talk to your program director and do this. So while folks are at the radio station, they're in the midst of doing that, I was going to governments and mayors and getting these, oh my God, Clovia, why you didn't tell us? You are the community servant. You were awarded by city council? We didn't know. So when other people on the outside start recognizing me, they have to do it on the inside. Oh my God, we're going to take out an ad in that paper. Did you see it? We're going to send it to corporate. So that's how, and you move it on. So whenever somebody tries to move me out of the position, God always elevate me to something else. So I done showed up in somebody's paper, or, UCrop was like one of the richest people in the city of Richmond. So they caught an article of he and I talking. They were like, what is UCrops and Community Clo talking about? Right?
Yeah.
And what we talking, what are those two talking about? And so at the time, how you going to get rid of somebody like that? And so when the advertisers like, hey, I want the girl that does community, I want her to do. So then you got the advertisers, they lead the conversation. They're going to tell you who they want and what they're going to do.
Yeah.
So, but all things have an expiration date.
Miss Community Clovia.
Oh, you said it wrong, Nick.
There you go.
You said it wrong.
That's not how you were saying it.
Miss Community Clovia.
Yes.
I'll say this. You've been in the business for a long time, from Stone Soul to other community events.
Yes.
What is some of your most memorable moments? Good,
Good one.
bad.
Oh my God.
Give me your top five.
Why? I remember it's it's so many, right? But I'll just narrow it down. I remember one day I forgot who it was I was interviewing, and I'm interviewing them, and for some reason, the one thing that I hate is like if I'm on air and the next jock comes on, right? I'm gonna put the board back in the right position, right? I'm gonna have all my buttons and everything, right? So I'm coming in, I'm thinking everything cool with the board, so I'm having this major conversation that I can hear the person I'm interviewing, but it's not going on the air. So the only thing the listener's hearing is, yeah, oh my God, really? So they call, they was like, "Good, Chloe, what's good? You all right?" So my listeners, we cool, but it was nothing on the air. Like his pot never came up. You know, that was messed up. And then one time I'm running around and I had to interview Jodeci when it came to Stone Soul, and I was calling Casey JoJo and JoJo Casey. That was bad. That was awful. Then
JoJo.
yeah, and I was like, yeah, what's good? Oh my God. So Casey, tell me whatever. And they just looking like, what's up with Shorty? Right? That was not good. And then we had a situation where it was a stripper, and her name was Mary Carey. It was a stripper a long time ago, and she got yeah, back in the day. So I'm on air saying, "Oh my God, I don't know how Mariah Carey is going to get out of this with the stripping." So then the listeners call up and say, "You know what? I expect you to give an apology because that's my favorite artist. That is not Mariah Carey. It's Mary Carey." So that was not good. Yeah, so and it was funny, and then just misspell a whole word, and then you just laugh about it, and those were good things. And I think for me, I don't really get embarrassed when I'm on air about stuff because I'm being a real me. Like the way I am now, that is the way that I am on air. Because some people, I remember, I won't call no name, but we had a girl doing the Quiet Storm, and she's talking like this, and oh my God, and then all of a sudden somebody walks in the studio and says "boo." She was like, "What the F?" And she was a whole different. It was like, who is that walked in the studio? But it was her. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I ain't rolling out like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep it. I'm gonna keep it a band. I'm gonna keep it me.
Gotta be.
And so that's it. But it's oh my God, it was something.
Chill out.
Yeah, but when I was
Rolling,
doing
right?
that,
Yeah.
I was intentional about Casey to JoJo and JoJo to Casey.
That's tough, man.
Man, I was all wrong. And they looked like they looking like they ain't know the difference.
I gotta ask one question.
It was
Stop. That was the heyday. I might be Casey. You know what I mean? I don't know. He's JoJo. Right? It's like, go ahead.
How'd you feel when Richmond got rid of Stone Soul? Because it was, that was big in the community.
Stone Soul was big in the community, but I think when you have a general manager at the time who was really into everything on social media, did you see the followers they have? So what we should try to convince her is just because people are following you, I can go to my cell phone and I can just hit a like. But that doesn't mean I'm going to purchase a concert ticket. Half of the people that you like, it was like, "Dad, dude, oh yeah." But guess what? You're gonna watch them on YouTube. You are not going to the concert. So I think at that time, at the magnitude when we did have great shows, right? And then it got to the point, like we bought 50 Cent. What you bringing 50 for? 50 Cent wasn't getting all of those viewers, followers because of his music. It was Ghost and all of his shows. So that didn't calculate into I want to see 50 Cent in concert. And not to take away from 50 Cent, but all of these, you just looking at these followers and it kind of like tore up the show. And I felt that we had too many people at one time. I don't think we need like 10 artists. Like if you got a Snoop and you got an Erykah Badu, you need a hot 3 and then get a gospel artist because Snoop could cross over to iPower and Kiss. right? Because he's been around since the 90s. So that way you got Snoop on iPower, you got Kiss. So that way you put all your eggs in your basket, and then you can throw in an Erica Badu. And then you can get like a Kirk Franklin for your gospel side. So yeah. But if we do bring it back, it need to be on a smaller scale with the major act and not 20 acts. But highlight most of your local acts. That's something that we should be investing in if we get major acts, and then highlight your local acts. I always believe in homegrown talent should be so showcased. I do believe that wholeheartedly.
Yes.
hmm
I got one for you. So
He was like, wait,
yeah.
wait.
So I mean to change.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Nah. So what inspires you?
What inspires me? I'm inspired, and it's simple, because every day that I wake up, right, and this is some real grown folk stuff. This is real grown folk stuff, right? Every day that I wake up and I see so many people, whether they're old or young, that are having heart attacks and strokes, and something is going on in their body and they don't know. Like, we don't even know what's going on with Jamie Foxx. We know it's something serious,
Just
right?
saying,
Because he's working around the clock and he's working on 2 movies. So at the magnitude of all of the work that I do, on air, we have to help maintain our number 1 slot, right? On the radio. That's radio. And I also work in the nonprofit space. So we have 56 bed spaces that we provide for men and women returning from incarceration. My daughter is 16 years old. She just started her business. And I'm pouring into the lives of the new breed of broadcasters by teaching at Virginia Union. Well, that's enough. No sleep, taking care of business. Your number 1 bread and butter is radio. So when I can wake up and I can just shut it down, and I'm inspired when I can wake up, I can breathe on my own, I can see, I can move around. So once that happens and I'm blessed, I'm inspired to pour into other people's lives as opposed to being negative. And that comes with maturity.
Yeah.
So it's not a situation of saying, oh my goodness, she's sitting up here saying she doesn't stress. I did all of that when I was in my 20s, 30s, 40s, right? So I'm in my 5'7", right? And it ain't 7'5", 7'5", 7. And so those are things that inspire me. But as long as you have your health and strength, I feel like with your health and strength, what are you doing with it? Are you sharing it with someone else? Are you helping someone? And I think what happens with the younger generation or this new culture of people are not pouring into your lives, or you be like, you had your time. Don't nobody care about that. But you dying, you was like, dude, something going on with your eyes. You check your heart rate, and then you can spaz out and have a heart attack at 22. You see what I'm saying? But it's a breakdown in communication. And that's something that I'm inspired to do. And what I love, with my students at VUU, we're like that. We going all in. It was like, Miss Cole, give me some of this before I go. And so to be able to pour into someone else's life that, 37 years of successful radio, if I want to do podcasting, if I want to, whatever it is I want to do, I can do it. But when I say whatever it is that I want to do, that I can do it, we can't look at my desire to be like somebody else's desire. So if I say, hey, if I want to do what I want to do, and it's like, dang, you should aspire to go to like a CNN or a News Nation. No, that's not what I inspire to do.
Right.
I inspire to instill in people to be the greatest that they can be. That's it. That's what inspires me at this stage in my life. But back in the day, I was like, no, you on your own.
But you had to get here, though.
Right.
And
it was something.
One could say you paved the way for a lot of people. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And so, especially in this age when everybody's cruel, everybody's competing against each other, and which you don't have to.
Right.
And it's hard, you're saying, yeah, right, but we're not 20s, I'm telling you. I did this post, and like I said, my daughter, she's 16 and she has her own business, motivational speaking. She's an instrumentalist, and I say, as long as you operate in your God-given talent, your services are wanted. It's a business. The problem is you're not operating in your talent. You're trying to get somebody else's business, and you're failing. And then you're gonna look and going to compare yourself to the next person. I have no reason to compare myself to the next person if I'm operating in my God-given talent. And then sometimes people, you want to forward. You was like, yeah, I know I like this. I know I like this. You be like, you don't really like that. And so when you start doing the things that you like to do, I think once radio, as it is, once radio turns into a job for me, I gotta go. I'm free. I gotta be free. Y'all don't know what freedom like. Y'all looking at me like
Trying to get there, sister.
What
Trying
she talking about freedom?
Can you show me this a way, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely trying to get there, man.
And it's hard.
Do you know the way?
Your talent, your talent is going to be that way, and it's hard because you see everybody was like, "Hey, they got followers. They doing this. Why are they doing that? Why?"
Okay.
But that's them. Don't even.
We carried it too.
Yeah, we just talked about this. I was
Yeah.
like, today, like, it's very, very, it's a lot of distractions out here,
Right.
so it's harder to stay focused. We were just talking about this the other day. Yeah.
You just have to. Again, it's a situation where sometimes what people do will distract you, and then you have to stay true because everything that's on social media and everything you see is not always what you see.
True.
Especially with your rap artists or even people that are in the business. Who would have ever thought that Twitch was unhappy, depressed, and sad? He's dancing every day on social media. Right?
Good point.
And so, but you wouldn't have known. You was like, oh my God, he's dancing again. Let's go. And then dude was gone in less than 24 hours after he posted something with his family. So you don't really know what it is that people are going through. So you got to be careful of comparing yourself to someone else. That's something I mean, honestly, and this was pre-social media. Remember, we didn't have social media. But the day I wouldn't compare myself with someone else, but I used to feel like say for instance, and it's like, okay, well, I'm doing this little broadcast thing over here. And he was like, hey guys, what the 804 podcast, oh y'all my dudes, so and so such and such and such and such. And then I'd be like, so I don't want what you have, but I felt like my light was dim while your light is shining. That was my issue. So I didn't want you to be depleted. But where my light should have still been like, oh my God, the spotlight is on. What's up? But then I'm like,
nah, man.
I'm over here. Ain't nobody pay me no attention. And that's not true.
Right.
But it takes that
happens so easily too.
Yeah. And when you're in this business, because everybody is or was or is fighting for a spot, people don't want to share those real things with you. And I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm just gonna share everything with you. I think because everybody's doing a podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing everybody's doing a podcast. But what is going to make your podcast different? What's going to make it different?
They don't have this community Clovia on the podcast.
God, dog.
Okay, that was good.
Nick saying community Clovia on the podcast.
But and those are things that you got to think about. The only way that you're going to be different on your podcast, that you would have a formula that everybody else doesn't have. And even if you look at people, oh my God, they got 1 million followers, right? All things have an expiration date.
That's facts.
So as long as you operate in your talent, and I'm telling you, that's the one thing. If people had told me this a long time ago, I wouldn't have been as stressed as I was, right? Because how in the world was I going to compare to a dude on air? And I'm listening to him. Oh my God, did you hear what he said? Oh my God, I can't be him. I can't say I'm like him.
Right.
We're not even talking about the same thing. But it was never a female or anyone to tell me, you're good. You'll be okay. So I had to start patting myself on the back, even though I didn't feel that way.
Yeah.
But
that's important too.
Huh?
That's important too.
Yeah. And it's hard. That's nothing easy.
Yeah, true.
When everybody is, glorified. And then you got to look at it as people do things to make you feel bad. I was the only girl. I'm the only girl again. I was the only black girl at the country station. So everything was just different. And so that's all I can say.
That's it. Oh, did you have a question?
Yeah,
10,000
I guess
questions more.
right. Yeah, we got all night. Yeah, about 3 more hours left.
Yeah. I thought it was 4, but it's fine. 3's cool. Yeah.
It's Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Camps over crossfires.
Wow.
You wanted to talk a little bit about that?
Yes. Well, the reason for starting camps over Crossfire, 16 years ago, I went to Parks and Recreation to do something different for kids.
Mm.
And, one kid getting shot accidentally was too much for me, right? And that was the climate. Now it's like the norm now, right? And so while I'm in the midst of doing that, meeting with Parks and Rec, I lose my godson. He died at the National Harbor. He was 12 years old. And so when I lost my godson, so everything that I wanted to do about creating a fun space for summer camp, right, it was actually for my godson.
Mm.
So I lose my godson, talked to his mom, and I was like, oh my God, can I use his name and likeness? She said, sure. So we sat down at the table and we worked on this camp and we swore together that it would never be a situation where kids will be without anything to do for the summer. And so I would see summer camps that are happening, and it's like, oh my God, they got to pay for the field trips, and you got to get the transportation, all of those things. And so we came up with an idea that we were going to fundraise where it wasn't going to cost parents anything. So they don't pay for field trips, they don't pay for the food, they don't pay for the snacks, they don't pay for the transportation or anything. All designed to keep kids safe all summer from drugs, alcohol, peer pressure, and any other that they could get involved with. So after starting, this will be our 16th year, and it was like getting us prepared for the shootouts that we're going to have with our kids, right? And it's also getting us prepared for the CDC released a few weeks back that kids as early as 11, they're doing drugs, heroin, and fentanyl. And so, because our kids are traumatized. So not only do we send a kid to camp, so that's kids under the age of 13. So now what we added the component of teen cohorts. So we do send a kid to camp in teen cohorts. So what is a teen cohorts? Kids from 14 to 17, we try to get them at universities. We take them to, teach them about podcasting, workforce development. We try to get them on a payroll to work with the kids in the facility. So that's what we do. And it's at no cost to the families. We take them on field trips. We do non-traditional sporting. We do writing camps. We do 30 minutes of curriculum. So that's what Camps Over Crossfire is. So what I do in hopes of, do you choose Camps Over Crossfire and the morgue or violence?
Right.
So that's what that's all about. So we want to try to, last year we raised $80,000 in pledges and we provided 345 scholarships. So I'm not putting a limit on it this year. So hopefully we get more. So that's what it's all about. Just keeping our kids safe and our teens and youth and young adults. Because teens think they know. They don't really know. They could be somewhere up to somebody camp or something. Yeah. Or on the 804 podcast.
I know I'm young, but man, yeah, these teens do be thinking, boy, like,
they
thinking they have it together. Like, young little lad.
Yeah, they don't have it together.
Man.
Yeah. So we just try to keep them safe, and then try to keep community safe as much as possible. So that's what it's pretty much about. Just getting all the kids ready for summer, after school, out of school, spring break, and also winter break, and back to school.
Dope.
Miss Community Clovia, I got a 2-part question for you.
And then we got about 15 more.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, I don't know how deep you are into politics.
I am.
So, again, you're in the community a lot. What do you think about the mayor of Richmond? And second part question is, where do you see Richmond next 20 years?
Can I do it in reverse?
Yeah.
Okay, Richmond in the next 20 years, according to all of the scales when it comes to finances, there's going to be no finance support for African Americans. And then you're going to have the Hispanic population. And the reason I say that is we have a whole gentrified city that was pretty much your chocolate city that has become gentrified, but it's only become gentrified because you have elected officials that are in those positions. And then we have people in position that are doing the best that they can, are doing what they do because we're caught up into parties. What I don't do is I'm an independent voter and I think differently. I am not pulled into either party. There are good people in the Democratic Party. There are good people in the Republican Party. There's not so good people in the Democratic Party and not so good people in the Republican Party. So when you look at Medicaid and all of these votes that's happening, both sides have to vote. There has never been a vote about anything of anybody interest where both sides didn't have to vote. And so for me, I just think that there are a lot of folks that are in the community that can help. But for a long, long time, when there was funding available, let's go back to 5, 10, 15 years and funding was available, and you have all of these major nonprofits getting all of this funding. It was like, yes, I'm dealing with the poor kids and kids of barriers. Which one? So now we got a whole crime problem. We have a whole housing problem, right? And so collectively, what's going to happen in 20 years, you won't have any more black leadership. And I don't think you're going to have any black leadership in the city of Richmond after this next mayoral campaign. Because, yeah, I don't think so. And as far as the mayor is concerned, the mayor, he does the best that he can do based on the people that's around him. You're always as good as you are based on your people that are around you and your cabinet. And so I feel like if you run a city, I think you need more allies. And I don't think we need, if I'm mayor of the city, I'm going to have specific allies who believe in carrying out my message and saying the things that I can't say and doing the things that I can't do. But I'm going to report back to you. And so when I report it back to you, say, hey, you know what? We had 700 people homeless. We got 300 in housing right now. So then when you come back to the mayor, oh, hey, we had 700 people homeless and we got 300 people. And I just think that he just need more allies that are really working as opposed to receiving funding. Yeah, because it can be a great city. And we don't know what it's like. We have opinions about people and we're not even in that position. I used to have people, I remember this guy disputed me down when we were at this event and he was like, you don't do nothing. The only thing you do is get on the mic. Anybody can get on the mic and talk. I mean, really. So then when you come up to the radio station, we're on the number one radio station,
Yes,
right?
sir.
And I pop that mic up and I got music up under me and I ain't, right? And then it's like, really? And so it's not an easy task. So I can't, I will not speak about someone in their position and what they do. It's only one, the community put them there to represent them. And then number two, people are only as good as the people around them. And then number three, it's you trust that person to do a job, but we haven't been mayor. So we don't know what it's like. But what I can do is collectively as a community, we need to do better. Because I don't believe you want big government. See, this is the deal. You don't want big government in your business. You want more funding because you want smaller government. You only want your government, if you will, for buildings. If you want to purchase a skyscraper, but you shouldn't want your government in your daily operation of business. You shouldn't want that.
Well, you got some lint on your. Yeah, let me go ahead and get that for you, Nick. Why don't you come down to the station and I can go ahead and get that lint on? Yeah.
Yeah. So you do it yourself. And so now that we're in a situation, you sound understand. We're in a situation now. Nobody does anything for themselves. Or the people who have the wherewithal to do stuff better, they do it for themselves. And then everybody else is out back. So until we come together collectively and just, hold on to one family member, if they're ready, everybody's not ready. And everybody that's underserved and underrepresented don't mean they want to be represented. So. That's my story and I'm sticking to it.
You heard that, y'all.
I'll say this.
I feel like that sometimes.
Oh yeah, this is my go-to button. It's like a right click at this point. But go ahead, Nick. Yeah.
I'll say this again. You're big in the community, so you talk to people out here, just the regular common man, and you talked about that Richmond has a crime problem.
Oh yeah.
I'll say this. What is the solution?
I
for
think
that?
what's going to, first of all, we can't get to the solution phase until we recognize that we made a big mistake. And it's hard to get people to say, I messed up. I made a big mistake. I put funding in this source and that source and it didn't work. People don't want to say that. So you want to say, hey, look, if you have someone who's quote unquote living in so-called poverty, but they're getting entitlements, it's kind of hard for them to want to move out of where they're living to be better, where you can take away all of their entitlements like, SNAP program and all of that, or voucher. Yeah, but I got a credit score of 620. Oh my goodness, I'm in a housing program and I got to pay for my water, gas, and light. And it's hard for people to do that. So when you allow people to stay in that space, it ain't that they don't want to do it better, but how many people go over there to talk about credit or anywhere? I'm not just talking about housing projects because I love the communities, but what conversations are we having? We should never be sitting and hanging out at this point in our lives and not talking about getting some real estate. I don't care who you are. You can't be doing it. There's nothing else we should be talking about. Nothing else. You got that piece? All right, wait a minute. They told me I can go ahead and get this. You know what? I'm going to go half and half. You do 10. We can go ahead and get this property. We go ahead and flip it real quick. What you want to do? Right? Because what's happening, you see in a whole city of a bunch of folks with LLCs coming in and buying all this prime real estate. And our housing communities, that's on prime real estate. My house property would never really go down because I'm off of 895. Anything by the highway is prime real estate. And so all of our conversations, especially folks in their 20s and early 20s, real estate. Where is it? What I'm going to do? And I'm going to save it. Not spending money on anything. You want when we get $1? All right, hold it. We're going to flip it. We're going to do this. And so these are things that we don't talk about, but we don't leave a legacy. Just think about it. We don't leave a legacy. We leave a legacy of debt. And it's got to stop. And that long gone are the days, I'm young, I got you. No, you don't. They knocking. I have never in my life. And when I was growing up in school, I don't know what it's like for someone to get killed. The whole time I was in school, it was no one missing. No kids died. No kids were obese. We get on the bus and get off the bus. It was nobody in shot. We never got caught in a crossfire. It wasn't a gun. And so now we're looking at, we don't have no time. There's no time. That young, I got time, that must go. So you need to go ahead on and create an inheritance and, get you a living will and trust and get you some health insurance. If you're already on your parents' health insurance, you can be on it till 26. But look at you some life insurance. You have your own life insurance. You probably say, I'm young, but no.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
You want to be able to do some things. And everything that you have, it's got to be real estate. And even if you buy a shack, it's your shack. You got to have something. And you want to put it in the trust. You don't want anything in your name. And so these are conversations that we need to have because there's other people that are doing the same thing, but they don't want to share it. Because even though you're looking at situations where even if you have some black folks got this thing, they still like the crabs in the barrel, right? Instead of pulling everybody up, they don't want to share stuff with you. But I don't want it. I mean, in our class, my students will tell you, you'll be like, oh my God, no, Lord, that trust got me looking up trust and what it means, and I'm not playing, and I'm like, because everybody teaches us, or we were taught, oh my God, you get your degree, you get your trade, and this is what you do, and hopefully you can retire, or you do a savings, you do all of that. Yeah, I feel like that too. And so,
ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, but that's true.
We gotta keep the jokes going. Y'all stay at school, man. Y'all tighten up. Y'all
great.
Get you a trust, y'all. Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, that's just my other story, and sticking to it.
Y'all heard it here.
I'm gonna have to take that. Right, I'm sticking to it. Yeah,
All right. I'll say one more thing.
let's get it.
Top 5 people you've interviewed.
Top 5 people.
Other than
Louis,
Nick. Yeah.
Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Really? Hold on.
Woo! Just
What-
to be in
what-
his presence. He
what-
was the
What is he like in
coolest,
person?
softest person. I had the opportunity to go to this event, and it was destiny, right? Because you can't get to Minister Farrakhan.
Yeah, he
And
just.
so the Crown Plaza, he was coming through town because he was going down south for something. I don't know if it's near Savior's Day. It was something going on. So I went to the Crown Plaza. They said that he was there. So they pretty much like his entourage, Nation of Islam. They 25
They don't play.
strong. Chuck D, a Public Enemy, already told you, right? So we couldn't get in for some reason, and I said, okay. So one of the girls who was from VPM, public community radio station, so she said, well, look, I'm just going to go in and stand in the lobby, and we'll see if we can get a glimpse of him. And I said, okay, well, I'm gonna go to the restroom. So if you ever been in the Crown Plaza the way it was, it's like when you come in this hallway, it's like doors. And I was like, do they put signs on it and say restroom? Right. So when I'm walking down the hallway, he walked right out the hallway. And so I got a picture of me shaking his hand like this. I got 2 pictures. And then when they went in the room to do the press conference, he said, what's your name again? Clovia, come up front and talk to me. So I was like, how you get up front? And so that was great. Just, having a conversation with him about love and our people. Second, Michelle Obama,
Hey.
because we talked about parenting. We talked about community. We talked about knowing our history. We talked about law. That was really cool. Also interviewing Valerie Jarrett, which was the senior advisor to President Barack Obama. She was cool. We did a lot of stuff when they passed Obamacare. So I did some community outreach for her with the connection to the White House. Barack Obama, of course, interviewing him.
My boy.
That was cool. We had a really nice conversation when we got toward the end, and I said something to him, and I said, "Close for president." He said, "You know it. I'm voting for you." Right?
Come on the
And
podcast.
number 5
Okay.
was interviewing. Who was the 5th person? Kamala was. Let's see. Interviewing. Who would be? Actually, George Clinton.
Hmm.
That would be my starting 5.
This is up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not playing them. Right? Once you say you got Farrakhan on your team, yeah,
Yeah.
y'all got it. Yeah.
He blew me away.
Y'all
It
got
was
it.
and he blew me away.
Point guard.
Because you can't just get close to Frank.
That's why I said it was destiny.
That man.
You don't get close to Farrakhan at all.
Because I be seeing the speeches on YouTube, and it's just like people in front, people in the
Oh no, you
back,
don't get to
people
him.
on the side of him. Like,
Mhm.
Like they his crowd. Like that, not the crowd. The
Yeah.
crowd is his people. Like they're here to listen to what he got to say.
Yep. So that was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, to interview him. That was
I have
crazy.
a question. So when you're meeting someone of high status and whatnot,
Mhm.
how do you keep your cool? Just in general, like, and
Uh,
advice to other people as well.
Well, even if you're nervous
Mm-hmm.
or you're feeling giddy, oh my God, don't let them see that,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Probably
Because you
already
can make them feel uncomfortable. I think this particular time, when I did see Minister Farrakhan, because I was trying to go to the restroom, and they were getting ready to do the press conference, and so then when we shake the hand and we do the embrace, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna miss everything. But when I shook his hand and I went to the restroom, I was like, oh my God, I cannot. Oh my God. Right? But I didn't let him see me sweat.
Right.
And so by me not allowing him to see me sweat like that, I wasn't being arrogant. I was confident, but I was humble. but I wasn't being like, okay, Minister Farrakhan. I was like, yes, Minister. And he was like, what's your name again? Come up front. I said, yes, Minister. I was humble, but I was like, oh my God. I'm saying this to myself, and I'm looking like,
whatever, all that's all gravy and juicy and Farrakhan and all them is all nice. You got to meet Michael Jordan.
yeah.
You got to meet Mike. You got to meet Mike. You got to meet Michael Jordan, man.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I know it wasn't for like a long, it wasn't an interview, but
it was.
Yeah.
So I'm a NASCAR fan.
Okay.
And I'm a true NASCAR fan.
Right.
When it was Richard Petty, Bobby Labonte, that's what y'all thought about, right? Dale, not Dale Jr., Dale Earnhardt Sr. Right? Hermie Sadler, right? So I go way back with NASCAR.
Ricky
It wasn't a
Bobby.
black person out there. And now it's driven for diversity. And Bubba Wallace, he has partnered with Walmart to deal with mental health in the black and brown community. And so with our nonprofit, we provide housing and we deal with mental health in the black and brown community. And so we won the Walmart grant. He did the presentation. So that was that Friday night. And so then we go to the races. And so when we at the races, the guy who's driven for diversity and who's with Mike, he was like, I cannot believe you were broadcast. I was like, yeah, Richard Petty. It was like, what? And so then after that, I just walked to the back and Mike's standing there talking. And I was like, I'm gonna get a picture, right? And he was like, come on, baby girl. Let's get a picture.
The goat.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah. Right.
The goat. Right. He should be like a gray or like an orange aura around him. Like, he should just glue up. And then,
That's how
he didn't have Jordans on, did he?
Yeah.
He probably has them.
Everybody around had Jordans on.
But him.
He had on Jordans.
Okay, I understand, but he probably had some Jordan slip-ons.
Right, no, he had his Jordans. No, he had his Jordans.
Might be having on the bunny slipper Jordan 1.
Yeah, he had on his Jordans, and everybody around. It was amazing seeing all these white people with Jordans on.
So somebody had on New Balance. They were.
Nah,
he don't play about that.
Hey,
Nah,
you.
he don't play about that at all.
No, everybody was, he
Nah,
was
he
doing
don't.
this thing, and just to see people standing out there like, oh my God, Michael Jordan, y'all not understanding. And I'm so dead taking pictures of the tire changer, but it was an experience to be, because you give credit and you give credit where it's due. And to actually be, around him and stuff like that. But when you're around folks of that magnitude and you're into serving people, you look at more of the serving people. So now when I look at 2311 Racing, I'm helping more people in the mental health space. So it was more to me than just Michael Jordan. It was like, wow. He allowed his racing to do this, his driver.
You would have to keep me at home, Clovia. I would have came in there with that. Yeah, I told you. Get him out of here. Right.
Well, the race is coming back in July. You don't like NASCAR races?
We will be there.
You don't like NASCAR races?
I just want to see Mike.
You won't be able to do that.
Tell Mike, call me. Yeah.
Mike, come on the show.
Race.
Yeah, I did. Actually, when I was at K95, he was doing a giveaway. So, yeah. And Tony Stewart was my favorite NASCAR driver until Denny Hamlin started driving. I just, he was
Now I
from
heard about
Chesterfield.
him. I heard about Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan owned 2311 Racing together.
I know the
Denny Hamlin out of Chesterfield.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing about that. When it was
Mhm.
coming up. Come on.
Yeah, I'm a NASCAR. Yeah,
I remember.
sold out NASCAR fan.
I mean, I would like to go.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah,
You was a
going
Jimmy
is
Johnson
lit.
fan.
I actually haven't gone
Kyle
as an
Busch is
adult.
tight too.
So going as an adult
Yeah,
probably would be.
Kyle
now.
Busch is tight.
Yeah, been going as a kid.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's just something.
Kevin
about,
Hardwick.
Woohoo!
Just something about seeing the cars just going around. I understand you probably got to go in person.
Well, you gotta see. I think what happens is seeing it and watching it from over there, but to experience it from pit road and everything that goes into the car. And then when they have to do the tire change or if the car wrecks, just to be like, oh my God. And they have to change the tire in under 9 seconds.
Quick as a mug. Yeah.
Wow.
Go.
Hey, could y'all change my tire real quick?
Right,
Right,
not
that's
down the
race.
street where they take 3 days.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
they got to
You see this? Yeah.
I've been in the hangars and everything. I just love everything about it because if the behind the scenes is so great, just to see how many people you got, tire changers, and then you have your whole pit crew, and then you're looking at the setup, and they can see in everybody's car when they're driving. And then you have your pit chief just communicating with them in the car.
That is pretty cool.
And you can hear it, and you're looking at the pit box. So I got all of those pictures. So I took video when I'm standing there. So everybody, if you go to my page, I haven't posted all of them, but I'm going to just load them up. But if you just to see it, and then Kyle Busch tire change, I'm right there. It's crazy. And of course, yeah. I loved it. I mean, I love everything about this sport. It's a green sport. It's not a black and white sport. Just straight up money.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's what's
So
all
why
about.
you think Michael Jordan tapped?
Of course.
into it?
No, I ain't say he was stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 18 million to maintain
Sheesh.
Bubba Wallace's car.
A car?
The car.
Does it repair you?
Tires. and
18,
everything.
and that's it? Yeah, no, I'm like,
But it's a good investment, because it's one of those sports where now that it's driven for diversity, tire changers are making $80,000 a year. That's all you do.
I'll be right back, guys.
Yeah.
I'll be right back, guys. Yeah, I'm playing. Yeah,
I heard they go to school for it.
Yeah.
That's tough.
And now to come to NASCAR and be down on pit road to see so many black people. NASCAR officials are brothers. It's amazing.
It's a girl who graduated from Norfolk State who
Yeah.
NASCAR team.
She was a part of the. Actually, I did an interview with her, and I got her on my page. They were a part of. Bubba at his block party, not this year, last year. He had. I think they're the Renegades, and they were showing you how you change the tire and how fast you got to be, and they're testing it, and you can see how you did the simulator and everything. It's that sport like that. Yeah. So my daughter likes it now. She went she was like, "Oh my God. But to see it live,
Yeah.
Fast and everything.
it's so fast."
Like the tires, the gas.
Yeah. It goes so fast.
They get to be a bald.
Yeah. But I think sooner or later, all of the pit crew is going to be black.
Have you been to
I'm scared to see the race.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just not. That's,
Oh yes, because they show them on ESPN and they just
Yeah.
car going 200 miles an hour. 5 to 1,000. It's crazy.
Yeah.
let me ask you this. Just your opinion, Miss Community Clovia. I'll say this. Jackson Ward, you see all the murals in Richmond. What makes Richmond beautiful?
What makes Richmond beautiful? Richmond was, the capital of the Confederacy. Actually, Richmond was the first community in the nation after slaves were brought here through Fort Monroe. And then they docked off the James down on Dock Street. Then they hauled them on Hall Street. And so Richmond is beautiful because of its heritage. Though the one thing that makes Richmond even more beautiful was the only place that we could possibly have our own businesses was down in Shockoe Bottom. And now that you look at Shockoe Bottom, which is the most historical place where we had all of our car washes, our insurance companies, and then you had your attorney's offices and stuff, and all of that is gone. But Richmond is a beautiful city, but Richmond is not going to be a beautiful city for black people. I think it's going to look like in a few years, it's going to look like Richmond is going to be a county and Chesterfield is going to be inner city. That's what it looks like to me.
The field.
Well, how do you change that? I mean, first of all, anything can be changed.
True.
And all things have an expiration date.
True. That might be
Right.
a reoccurring theme of this episode. Yeah.
Right? But it's far-fetched when, like I said, Richmond is the first community in the nation. So if I'm living in California or I sit in California and I want to do some investment property, I'm coming to Richmond. It's the first community in the nation. Right? Slaves came in here. It's historical. Everybody else cares about the vibe with the historical. But we don't talk about the greatness of us as African Americans. And like a lot of times, everybody talks about VCU. But it was VUU. Right? That was birthed out of a jail that was a gift. And so when we look at those things, yeah, Richmond is going to be beautiful, but Richmond is not going to be beautiful for black people anymore. And so when Richmond is not going to be beautiful for black people anymore, I am not saying that it's from a position of hatred. I'm not even mad. What happens is when you have people representing you, how does this happen? How does that happen? When I used to ride down Clay Street, and all of a sudden you see everybody hanging out on the corners on Clay Street, Churchill, up and down 25th Street, all of those were houses. And then next thing you know, you coming down the street, the houses are being gutted out.
White people are walking their dogs.
Right, but no, I'm talking about before.
Yeah.
Gentrification comes with the preparation.
Mm-hmm.
And so you looking and you saying, wow, Sally Bell and them lived on that corner. Now they're doing restoration to the house. What happened? Where they go? Then you see this block. Then you see this whole area. Then you see 28th Street. Then you see 29th Street. Then you see all down, up and down the Broad Street corridor. Then you see up and down Brooklyn Park, Chamberlain.
Mm-hmm.
What is this?
Hey man, when they got the Chamberlain.
No, when I know
And I'm young.
that
but-
it's really gentrified. Let me tell you.
Dang.
That's one thing to say gentrified and you building. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you go behind the chicken box over North Side, that blue apartment. Remember that blue apartment?
Yeah.
And I saw those white dudes sitting outside. I said, "Oh my God, it's gone now." Behind chicken box.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't have seen that 10 years
right,
ago.
No. Right, and it's going. But see, but the deal is, and what we got to understand as a people, we can't get mad. Saying you can't get mad about that because it shows you that what we do is, and what we have always done as a people. That's why I've been independent since I was 18. What we and our family, what we've always done is, as long as you're a Democrat, I'm voting for them. Nobody vets nobody for nothing. Well, what are you going to do if, we got seniors? Are we going to help them keep their houses? What are we going to do if like a big development comes through town? Are we going to make sure our kids have a community development and a park? Are we going to make sure they're going to build? We don't ask nothing. We don't.
That's facts.
So I am not mad with the beautification of the city. I'm not. Because you had an opportunity to vet and put the right candidates in office, but you voted a party. And now all of the black folks gone. Up there on Brooklyn Park and Haynes, they building so many houses in between the old houses. All of the brothers pushed down right there. You got there Brooklyn Park and Haynes. All the brothers standing right there. Because their family don't have houses anymore. And so what we got to do, we got to look at situations. That's why we got to raise us up, like you guys up. You got to take the responsibility and say, that ain't happening no more. It ain't going to happen no more. Because I'm going to buy it. We going to get an LLC. And we going to buy some property. You can't say that you're free and you're doing it yourself, but then you expect somebody to do something for you and it hadn't been done. That makes no sense to me. You got to do it yourself. And that means you got to change the way you do things. You got to save your money. You can't be wearing and flying this. You go and buy the fly stuff on your dividends after you done made all your money. Not while you're in the process. And so when you think about it, this is the way it is now. It's like that. And so do you go back and take housing from somebody who rightfully owns it by deeded property? No, you can't do it. Just say, you know what? We did it wrong. We did it wrong. We didn't have a plan. We just wanted to gentrify. Or no, not even gentrify. We just wanted to beautify the city. We didn't want our inner city to look like other inner cities. But when you don't want your inner cities to look like other inner cities, what about the people that live in the inner city? Where they gonna go?
Yeah.
Right? And so the majority of people will be priced out. But what we can't do, you can't put blame. Everything is a process. When you don't take care of things the way that you're supposed to take care of them, somebody always gonna get left out. So now we got communities of people that are being uprooted from the places and spaces that they know. Like Creighton Court. Do you know how many condos they can build in Creighton? You know how many mansions you can really build on that whole lot? And it's right by the highway. You can't tell me. I'm driving. You're right there by the highway.
Real estate.
Yeah. Jackson Ward is by the highway. Hillside Court, go down the cut, go through Commerce, go in the back, 95. Fairfield, right there, go down Fairfield Way, get on the left, Oliver Hill Way, make that right, get on the highway. Wickham Court, right there at the highway. Actually, you can see the highway from the back of Wickham. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's y'all's responsibility. But do you want the responsibility? That's got to be something you got to think about. See, the people who fought hard for you to be where you are, to be where you are, to do the things that you need to do, they lost a lot fighting for you. So now it's time to pass the torch, and just get it done. See, ain't stuff ain't gonna happen on my watch. No, my daughter's 16. She can't be without everything I got. No, that ain't happening. I will not leave her without property. She can flip it, do what she want to do. She can rent it out, but property is not going to be a problem. That's our responsibility, and it's not only for my kid, but we got to raise up stuff in our community. See, we spend the most on depreciated items. We spend all our money on nothing to show off for people that we don't know and don't even like. For what? You driving a fly car, and that means what? And you living in an apartment. It's not yours. You can't even paint the walls when it ain't yours. You don't have no money saved up in equity if it ain't yours. You can't even go and pull money out your equity to buy a second house. It ain't yours. Me too.
Uninformed.
Yeah.
Right. Got any more questions, or we can get up out of here?
I'll ask you one more.
Let's go.
What's the best
I
era?
didn't mean to bore you guys. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm weak. No, don't do
You
that.
say that after that. At the end. Oh, I didn't mean. I mean, if y'all boy.
You know what I'm saying?
We got 2 more hours. It's fine. Yeah.
I can't wait to see what you go do. Right. When you here for them 2 hours by yourself, I can't wait to see what happens.
What's the best era of music?
Wow, the best era of music.
Because you said you were a music head, so I
The
say
best era of music for me is. Well, can I put 2 eras together?
yes.
I can put the 70s and 90s.
Okay.
70s through the 90s.
Why?
Because, back in, the 70s, when you're looking at, even Parliament Funkadelic, when he was talking about CC, we love you, Chocolate City. CC, we love you, Chocolate City. He was talking about your blue colors and your white. He had already prophesied black folks being in the White House. He said Aretha Franklin was a minister of music. Stevie Wonder I forgot what Stevie Wonder's position was, and it was called Gaining on Ya. Like everything that George Clinton in Parliament, it was more to, if you listen to the words in this song. And so when I'm listening, I listen to the words in the song. And back in the day when you had the album covers, they always had the words. You go in, you read the back of the cover, and they had the words. I love that. I also love the 70s when it was talking more about love and it was more about family. and Black Power, and of course James Brown from the 60s into the 70s, right? And that Soul Power, Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm proud. So those were songs that was relative to us. And so after we go in the 70s, we engaged in the 80s, it was more in love. But then we came out, and then we come back with classic hip hop. Chuck D, Public Enemy, 1989, another. You know what I mean? So all of that from that era to this. So you had education, the teaching of us, love, and then we going into writing the stories of how life is.
Oh, you're stopping at 90.
Yeah.
Okay. Not
Like
respect.
the 70s to the 90s.
Yeah, okay. Most people say like, yeah. No, she's saying not even 90s.
No, I'm
She
saying
said
90s.
stop at 1990.
No, well, in the 90s, in that whole.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, he tried to carry me there. But
Wow,
y'all. Actually, the 70s all the way up to the early 2000s to 2005.
Okay.
That's it. Anything after that, trap? God. I mean, people like what they like, and I'm, but we need messages. If something is on your phone and you listening to it, we live in a chaotic society. We need to be fed inspiration every single day. Shouldn't be something that inspires you every single day. Believe it or not.
Public Enemy or NWA?
Public Enemy, baby. Straight up and down, crossing over. Don't believe the hype. It's a sequel. Yes. Black Steel in the Hour of Chaos. I'm a sold out Public Enemy fan.
I love Public Enemy. I'm not gonna lie. That's all my dad listened to.
Uh-huh.
All right.
And he's a follower of Farrakhan too.
It's a serious.
Yeah, that's serious.
Yeah, it's serious. Right? Yeah.
I mean, NWA is good, but Chuck D just, he just give you the whole history book, and either you're gonna fly it or you're not gonna make it. Like The Message by Grandmaster Flash, when he was talking about, don't push me because I'm close to the edge, and so I'm in high school. And so it's like, oh my God, don't push me because I'm close to the edge. And White Lines, by, all of that. So we had those songs to deter us from doing, White Lines Blow You Away. And you sitting here like, I'm in college. I shouldn't do that because it'll blow me away. So those are songs that gave you messages.
De La Soul or A Tribe Called Quest?
Yeah, I'm a Tribe Called Quest. Find my way. Erykah Badu or who? Erykah Badu! Not Erykah Badu. I'm a Badu-ism. Yeah. I mean, and they're great, but Erykah just got this. She just got this, or she just different. With her music.
Let's see. Curtis Mayfield or Marvin Gaye?
Curtis, wow. Oh my God, that's tough. That's tough. Oh my God. Why would you do that? I'm gonna have to give it to Marvin Gaye. Here, my dear. Make you want to holler, throw up both your hands. I got it.
Okay.
But Curtis Mayfield, though,
yeah,
he was the first person to do a soundtrack to a movie that was Superfly. And that Freddy's Dead, talking about all the drug addicts and drug addiction.
You need to rewatch Superfly.
Superfly Shaft.
Oh, really?
Damn.
And not the new ones, the old ones.
No, the old one.
Nick, we might need to. Yeah, the Superfly might be it for
Yeah.
I think that might be it for that. Yeah. I don't think too many.
You gonna lose the whole. It was like, what is that?
Right.
Google.
I'm waiting. Let me. Yeah, these millennials nowadays. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. All right. I guess we can get these announcements. We can get up out of here. Nick, we can start your way and go around to you.
I went, doing some filming. Documentary coming soon. I'll drop more clips at the end of May. Let you know I'm doing a film on Coach George Lancaster at Highland Springs.
Oh, okay.
So I'm doing a documentary on him.
That's good stuff.
I know you probably know who he is.
Little bit.
Okay.
But I do.
Right.
But just filming. So stay tuned.
That's good stuff.
Proud of you.
Thank you.
Mr. Alfred.
You're great.
He does. Mr. Alfred.
You're sitting at home.
I'm this
Uh-oh.
thing. Yeah.
You got your W-2s in your hand. Your 1099s, your 1095 A, B, and C's, 1099 miscellaneouses, y'all. You need to come and go ahead and ask me that question real quick.
I mean, I be listening, to Miss Community Clovia,
Right.
skirting through the South Side.
Dad
right.
got my tax.
So, right. So where we going to get our taxes done now?
Look, Fiscal Fitness Tax and Financial Services. That is Fiscal Fitness Tax and Financial Services.
Have a client, have a testimony right here. We not capping. Yeah, we not capping this time.
You might have heard him on a radio show.
Yeah. Got some video of him too.
This is real. Right? Yeah, this happened. This happened.
Yeah.
Yes, it's real deal.
Yeah, legitimate. Yeah, legitimate business. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
2650 Hall Street Road. That's 2650 Hall Street Road. Obviously, we are past the deadline,
Yes,
but
sir.
we will still do your taxes. 804-321-5766. That's 804-321-5766. My dad, Derek L. Lowford, founder and CEO, and you might also catch your boy in there, I might be doing a little something in there, so, you might catch your boy in there doing a little something. But I'm proud of you, Dad, proud of you, Mom, love you, Nick, good job. And yeah, J1 Day 1 stuff coming. And thank you too, Miss Community.
Oh, yes.
Of course.
And for your business as well. Yeah.
Facts. I ain't got too much. Obviously, once again, thank you, Miss Clovia, for coming through. Thank you to Rose in the 11th Hour Management, if I'm getting that right, for letting us come through. Right, this is another away episode for us this month, so definitely dope. Shout out to HB behind the camera. Like Alex said, J1 Day 1 film stuff, short scenes, short films. We are working. I know it seems like it takes a while, but editing, and shooting. So nothing too much. Miss Clovia, if you have any announcements, any shout outs?
Yes, I have an announcement.
Mm-hmm.
I want to thank the 804 podcast for having me as guest.
Thank you.
It's been a blessing.
I wasn't very clear for this.
But I want to talk to you about Camp Silver Crossfire.
Let's get it.
The 16th annual Syndicate to Camp and Teen Cohort is coming up on Thursday, June 1, 2023, 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. We're going to be at the Black History Museum and Cultural Center at 122 West Lee Street. We want you to give your best gift because we want to send hundreds of kids to camps and cohorts this summer. If you need more information, all you have to do is go to our nonprofit's website and you can make a donation of any size at projectgivebacktocommunity.org, or you can do it via Cash App. Send kids to camp. God bless you, and thank you in advance for keeping kids safe.
Will be in the description. Did anybody else get goosebumps?
That was the
Because
radio.
that was the radio voice. That was it. I don't know what she just did. I don't know. Our mics ain't that good. I don't know what
You
she
should have did the fart sound on that.
No. I didn't.
You was like, you gas.
No,
you got
honestly,
gas.
I thought
You
I was
gassing me up.
chill.
You're
I thought I was in the back seat of the old
You gassing me.
I thought I was going to JC Henning Elementary School, and I thought I was hearing Miss Community Clovia on the radio. That's what I thought.
You already know.
You gassing.
Wiping the daggone coal off my eyes. Right.
You're gassing.
You came to school, right?
Wait a minute.
Yeah. No, Clovia's on. Right, yeah. What'd you say? Right, no, for sure. That was excellent. No, I got to get that. I need one of them voices because I hate mine, honestly. Now that. Right.
I'm weak.
But any other announcements besides that?
Y'all, what you need to... No, I'm playing. Nah, yeah.
You get an LLC. Then you break up the... Then what you do is you buy a house. Then you get in debt. Then what you do is you take that debt. And then what you do is you double it. Now you got double
I
debt.
meant flip. Oh, Lord. Yeah, you flip it, but Yeah.
1 million subscribers.
Yeah. And then you get 1 million subscribers.
Any other...
Use those dividends.
Well, let's be a fool, Miss Clovia. Do you have any other announcements while we carry it on over here? I'm sorry.
I'm listening.
Nonsense.
Those dividends, make sure you swing those dividends over to Fiscal Fitness Tax and Financial Services, and we can invest them for you in a nice annuity for you. So yeah.
Y'all heard it? Yeah. I'm not mad at that. Yeah. So, how much in dividends, though?
Yeah.
You just said dividends. You didn't say an amount or
it would be nice if it was over 10,000. It would be appreciated if it was over 10 grand. So
you got extra 10 grand just laying around, right? Yeah. I don't know how times is these days, but Right. Never, you said, say it again. Never discuss.
We don't discuss money and religion.
Amen.
I ain't never heard that before. Okay.
Amen.
Well, not never heard that before. Yeah. You said what?
That's facts.
I don't know why people do, but yeah, right, yeah, that's their problem.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna talk about people that. Oh, Nick, go ahead, take us out, my good brother.
All right, I got a question for you.
Here we go.
Donald Trump or Joe Biden?
Neither. That's not a choice, though. Go ahead, Nick. You the controversial one.
Yeah, Nick.
I don't know. I'm not into politics like that, so
I smell cap.
I'll say Joe Biden. How about that? Just
Why you say that though?
because I don't know.
We try to get out of here.
I have no
I
idea.
tried
yeah,
to let
I
you
know.
get out.
I'm
I
not
tried to
gonna
let
lie.
you get out of here, Nick. I tried.
You want a cup of Joe,
I
don't
tried to
you,
let
Nick?
you get out of here. A cup of Joe.
I need to do better on my politics. I'm not gonna lie to y'all.
Well, you can't allow people to make decisions over your life without your input.
She's right. She's right. I need to brush up on my politics. But
You know.
can I do it one more time?
What?
Brush up on your politics.
No.
I got him. Right.
Invest 10,000.
No. Can I do it one more time before we get out of here?
Nick, I mean that's up to you, my man. You the one with the right. Yeah, you got it.
Miss Community Clovia.
That's it. Right, yeah, Nick, you know it's clipped up, by the way. That's already edited in the clip. That's already
About to go viral just
TikTok.
for that.
I
Yeah.
appreciate you for coming
Yeah.
Oh,
through.
well,
Yes,
thank
indeed.
you for having me, y'all.
Definitely.
Of course.
This was fun.
Yeah, we're okay. Yeah, we're decent.
You're fun.
Thank you. We try to be every now and then.
Yeah, like I said, we're okay. We're halfway decent.
I'm Nick,
You mentioned it. Jesse.
Alex
and this was the 804 podcast.
Yes, sir.
with Miss Community.
Clovia.
All right.
And we out to the air.